What is up, y'all? Welcome back for another video. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Sydney Rain and we just live in life over here. This account is a little mix of everything, so we do a little bit of lock care, hair care, skin care. I also do these things called Earthy Black Girl vlogs, and more recently I've been doing hiking yaps as well, where I go out in nature, I hike and I yap, which is basically just a combination of my two favorite things. So if any of that seems interesting to you, I encourage you to subscribe. So today we are going to be making a fenugreek and cranberry mocktail, herbal mocktail cocktail. But before we get into it, I do want to emphasize that I think it's super important that you talk to a doctor or a trusted health practitioner before taking any herbal supplements. And this is something that most definitely applies if you are pregnant or lactating, have any underlying health conditions, or take medication. Let's get into it. So the star of the show today, look at her, she is beautiful. These are fenugreek seeds. And just in case you don't know her like that, her real name is Trigonella phonum graecum. Trigonella phonum graecum. That is her Latin name. So fenugreek is a part of the pea family, and it's characterized to have sort of this maple-like nutty sweet flavor. But in my personal experience, I feel like it leaves more of a bitter aftertaste. It has also kind of been characterized to have like a burnt sugar taste, and I feel like that is definitely more of the long-lasting flavor that it has to me, but it does start off as a very sweet flavor. So I promise we will get to the fun part where I show you how I make my cranberry and fenugreek mocktail, but I do want to take the time to actually break down the herb and talk about it a little more in depth. So I will have timestamps below that break up this part of the video with the actual recipe itself, but I encourage you to watch the entire video just because I think it's important that you know what you're consuming and you know what you're getting into. So don't check out quite yet. I don't know about y'all, but this is my favorite part. I've been self-studying herbalism for 3 years now, so I love sharing herbal information, especially if there is a chance that any of the information that I give can improve your life or at least empower you to do your own research and learn how herbalism can make a meaningful impact in your life as well. So yes, let's get into it. So before getting into the specifics, I did want to break down the nutrition facts about fenugreek as well. Got my handy dandy iPad. So pretty much all of the information that I will be sharing today is from peer-reviewed articles and websites online. So going off that information, and about 1 tablespoon of fenugreek, it's believed to have 3 grams of fiber, 3 grams of protein, 6 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat. It also contains a reasonable amount of iron, which sits around 21% of the daily value if that is a guideline that you follow, as well as manganese, which sits around 6% of the daily value, and magnesium at 5% of the daily value. So if you are someone who's interested in upping their daily fiber, I think this is a great option to look into. And now getting into some more specific medicinal uses for fenugreek. I would argue that fenugreek is probably one of the most popular herbs when it comes to lactation and breastfeeding support, as well as diabetes. And I'm just gonna remind y'all again, I am not a doctor and I'm most definitely not your doctor. So I hope that you take everything I say with a grain of salt, do your own research. And if you're serious about using fenugreek for any of the reasons that I list in this video, I think you should most definitely talk to somebody. And though there are definitely a couple studies to reference when it comes to actually testing these believed benefits of fenugreek, I would still characterize it as relatively low as well. So a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you is most definitely anecdotal, but that is not something that we shy away from here when it comes to herbalism. So I still plan to talk about all of it, but yeah, just trying to get y'all in the mindset here. So like I said earlier, fenugreek has been used as a natural alternative to help boost the production of breast milk. And this is also the first thing that I learned about fenugreek as well when I came across the herb. I'm trying to think why I got fenugreek, because I have much more than this little container. I think I initially got fenugreek because I saw a few folks say that it helped with body odor and just in general helping your hair grow, skin, and also the girls were saying that if you take fenugreek and you are not breastfeeding, that it still kind of like pumps them up And so I think that definitely piqued my interest when it came to fenugreek. And since then, in doing research, I will say there is not a huge amount of studies that actually back that up. So I definitely think it's a matter of impact from person to person. Sometimes it can be very hard to sort through what is true and what is myth, but everything I'm talking about today, I really want to emphasize that it did come from articles from resources that I trust, and that's what I truly plan to stick to as far as what's talked about and highlighted in this video. So outside of lactation, diabetes is another way that fenugreek has been used for generations. In many traditions, fenugreek has been used to help lower blood sugar, and because of its high fiber content, it is also believed to be relatively beneficial to those without diabetes as well in helping support blood sugar. And even though this video is most definitely a little more geared towards feminine health and feminine care, I did also want to note that in a couple studies, fenugreek was shown to help boost testosterone as well as improve libido in masculine bodies and men as well. And in one study, it also showed a reduction in body fat, which leads me to my next point, because fenugreek has also been used for appetite control. And I will say, when it comes to a lot of these benefits, it would require you to take doses that are a lot higher than the recipe that I'm going to show you today. On average, when you are dosing herbs as medicinal medicine, typically you would be taking it at least 2 to 3 times a day in its respective dose form. So most of the studies that this information is coming from a dosage that was at least 3 times a day. And I did notice the dosages did vary, which probably just has to do with the parameters of the study itself. And I will say, in my experience using fenugreek through ingestion, I don't really know that I've experienced those appetite curbing effects, but I think it's also because that wasn't like an intention of mine, so I can't really speak to that. Now, when it comes to the benefits for womb-bearing bodies specifically, there are a few things that I wanted to highlight, and this is much more relevant to the recipe that I'll be making today, because this is not something that I take daily. This is something that I usually take closer to the end of my luteal cycle into my period, and that's just because for me, the benefits are a lot more relevant to what my body's going through and what it needs. So one of the main reasons that I like taking fenugreek around this time is because it is believed to help with PMS symptoms, and specifically with relieving cramps. As far as PMS symptoms for me, I feel like usually my biggest symptom is lower back pain, which I am still actively searching for ways to help reduce that, but I would say bloating, cramps, and back pain are my top 3 issues when it comes to PMS and just in general discomforts that I experience on my period. Fenugreek is also believed to boost libido in womb-bearing bodies as well. Though research is limited, some did claim that it did increase sex drive, and that is most likely because fenugreek has some form of an influence on the hormone estrogen. And because fenugreek is so nutrient dense, it's also believed to have many benefits for skin and hair as well. And if you're interested in checking out other videos on my channel, I recently shared with you my DIY herbal hair oil, and fenugreek was actually one of the main herbs in that recipe as well. I tell y'all, fenugreek has made its way into my life in many different ways, and the reason that I have so much of it is because of hair care. I most definitely use it topically more than I actually ingest it, but it really does just depend on the therapeutic benefits that I'm targeting. And a general rule of thumb when it comes to herbalism is that you prepare the herb in a way that gets it closest to whatever body part that you are trying to focus on. So when it comes to hair and skin, topically is probably the best way to use fenugreek. But if you're interested in the appetite control, libido, diabetes, or lactation, that is when you would probably want to take oral supplements or ingest the herb in some way. And then finally, fenugreek has also been used for digestion as well. It is believed to have a soothing effect on the gut and help with gas as well as stomach upset. That's why I'm just saying, like, fenugreek is your girl. Like, it'll have you feeling good, it will have you looking good, everything is just, you know what I'm trying to say. So that is fenugreek. I'm thinking now I want to show y'all how I actually prepare it. This cocktail is also going to include cranberry juice and pineapple as well, and optionally you can also include honey, just depending on how sweet you want this cocktail to be. For the sake of this video, cranberry is going to be considered an herbal ally, and it is also a great herb for reproductive health and feminine care. And as far as the pineapple is concerned, I would definitely be conscious of the amount of sugar that it contains, but pineapple itself can provide great immune support, and it is also believed to help benefit skin health and digestion. So everything in this cocktail is intentional. I really try to not just add a bunch of extra stuff and really just get to the point when it comes to making my herbal concoctions. I will most likely not be adding honey to this mixture just because I feel like the pineapple will be sweet enough. But if you find yourself feeling like you want a sweeter drink because the cranberry is quite bitter, I would consider using local honey for those additional anti-inflammatory and antibacterial effects, as well as the immune support. Cool. Let's go prepare some fenugreek. Okay, we are in my kitchen now and the lighting is sad. It is what it is. And I've seemed to have lost the fenugreek. Awesome, found her in the most random place that I could possibly put her. So the reason why I want to show you how to prepare fenugreek is because it's really important that you give the fenugreek at least 24 hours to rehydrate before using. And I will say, obviously that depends on how you're using the fenugreek, but in this case, it will need to be rehydrated because there's pretty much no way that you will get all of its benefits and use it to its full potential if it is in this hardened seed when you try to boil it to create your tea. So you don't really need anything fancy. I will just be using a glass to show y'all how I prepare my fenugreek. I would opt for probably spring water, or you could even use distilled water as well. But as far as ratios and how much fenugreek to actually use, typically when I make loose leaf teas, I go by 1 tablespoon for every 8 ounces, so a tablespoon for a cup of water. That is also what I do for fenugreek. And if this is your first time making this cocktail, I probably do 2 tablespoons, which comes out to about 2 cups of fenugreek tea to be added to the rest of the cocktail. For the most part, I try to make batches that will only last me up until a week, just because after that you do run the potential of whatever you made spoiling or losing its freshness, and in general just being no longer safe to consume. So I always like to be on the safe side, and I make sure to batch small to really only last me the week. So this is what the fenugreek looks like. I would not be concerned about how much water you put into this. Definitely keep in mind that you're looking to have 2 cups worth of this concoction. But in the grand scheme of things, we are going to be using the water in here as well. So that essentially is probably, in this case, going to be about 1 cup of the 2 cups altogether that we are working towards. So this is what it looks like as far as preparation. And lucky for y'all, I actually prepared some fenugreek 48 hours ago, 2 days ago. So let me show you what it looks like after 24 hours. So to be completely fair, this is 4 tablespoons of fenugreek, not 2, but I still feel like you could definitely see how expanded these seeds are compared to what they look like initially when they're dried. Fun fact, I actually made 6 tablespoons of fenugreek, but yesterday Doppo made spaghetti, and tell me why, y'all, this is a repurposed pasta sauce container, okay? Roasted garlic. Tell me why he saw this in the fridge and his brain automatically assumed that this was roasted garlic, and so he put 2 tablespoons of fenugreek in the pasta sauce. Which, you know what, in all fairness, I feel like that is most definitely an amazing reminder to label your concoctions, because not everyone is gonna know what's going on. But I just remember walking to the kitchen and looking at the pasta sauce and being like, Doppo, like, what is in the pasta sauce? And he was like, oh, it's garlic, it's the roasted garlic. I just remember staring at it and like trying to gaslight myself, because I was like, there ain't no way this man just took my fenugreek that I have been preparing for 2 days straight and put it in the pasta sauce right now. But that is exactly what happened. But honestly, it worked out in the end because it was fine. It was actually very good. Doppo makes like the best spaghetti. And if you're thinking anyone can make spaghetti, like it's not that difficult, I am telling you, when he makes the spaghetti, it feels like I have been transported into another country. Like I feel like I am in Italy. I've never been to Italy, so that is probably dead wrong, but it is so fresh and delicious, and he added the fenugreek and it ended up tasting just as good with additional benefits. So moral of the story, label your jars. Also, I wanted to show y'all something. Okay, let's see if it'll show you right away. Oh wait, whoops. That is why fenugreek has been used for soaps and shampoos, and that is because of the saponins that it contains. Okay, so the next step is fairly simple. We are just going to make a tea. So we're actually going to drain the fenugreek seeds so we can properly measure and see how much water is in that container. And then we will add in the fenugreek seeds, and then we will make the tea. So it looks like we are sitting just above a cup and a fourth, which is great. So we're going to add 2 3/4 of a cup more of water to the pot, and we're going to actually put both the fenugreek and this water in there as well so it can boil. Okay, so I let that simmer for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to let it cool, and I wanted to show you all the cranberry and the pineapple juice that I got. This is not sponsored, but I did want to share the brands that I used, and it is, I think it's Knudsen family, but this is 100% cranberry juice, not from concentrate. And then we also have Lakewood Organic, and this is also not from concentrate. Only thing I'd be wary about with pineapple juice compared to the cranberry juice, which only has 9 grams of sugar and 0 added sugars, the pineapple juice has 26 grams of sugar with 0 added sugars. If sugar is not a concern, I would personally probably like 50-50 this. As you can see, a little bit is gone from the top just because I made a cocktail with just the cranberry juice and the pineapple juice together, and I just did 50-50 because I like sugary things, I like sweet things and sweet drinks. But we're going to try and see if I can do half as much pineapple juice that I do for cranberry juice, and we are just going to assess how I feel about that. Since we only have 3 cups of cranberry juice, realistically, I think we're gonna do 3 cups of cranberry juice, 2 cups of fenugreek, and 1 to 2 cups of pineapple juice. Alright y'all, we are back in my living room. So here is our magic potion. This is the fenugreek and cranberry herbal cocktail, and I thought I would show you what I do to kind of make it more of a fun drink for me. So I got these glasses from Home Goods. I love these glasses. I have 2 sizes actually. I have this like really big glass, and then I have more of a standard glass. So because this holds closer to like 3 cups versus just like the 1 8-ounce cup, I like to take the herbal cocktail and I mix it with sparkling water. Not gonna lie, I still don't know how to say this. LaCroix. I used to judge people that would drink this. Now I drink it. What I like to do is I will just guesstimate maybe like 8 ounces. I'm not gonna lie, on days where I am really experiencing some of those negative symptoms and just feeling very bloaty and crampy and gross, I will definitely put more than this in my cup. This is probably around 8 ounces. This is a very safe amount to drink, especially if you're only drinking it once a day. I wouldn't expect to experience any type of adverse effects unless of course you have underlying conditions or you're on medication. And usually this is something that I end up drinking at night. Then I just fill the rest of the glass up with the sparkling water. Yeah, that is it. That's it. I'm surprised at how balanced it tastes. I can't really taste the fenugreek at all, and surprisingly I feel like the 2 cups of pineapple juice really brought down the bitterness and balanced out the entire drink without it being overtly sweet. I compare it to like a cider. I think, yeah, I'd compare it to a cider because it's not extremely sweet and it still kind of has like that slight bitterness that would come from a beer. So it's kind of like a non-alcoholic herbal cider if I had to compare it to something, but it's pretty unique on its own and I really like it. I think it's great. You don't necessarily have to mix it with anything, but if you are dealing with a lot of gas and bloating and just general tummy discomfort, the sparkling water can definitely help settle that as well. I try my best to make everything intentional. So that is how I make my DIY fenugreek and cranberry mocktail. And truthfully, once you learn how to properly prepare an herb and what it's best for. I feel like there are infinite uses and combinations that you can make with it. Before combining a whole bunch of herbs, I would definitely make sure that the herbs make sense together and they're safe to take together. Fenugreek is considered a generally safe herb, so making this every couple weeks, especially if you do incorporate breaks, should not be a concern at all. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you end up making this drink or you make some form of a combination of this drink. Once again, I highly recommend that you do your research and really get to know the herb before just diving right into using it. But thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy healing. All right, bye y'all.